following podcast contains spoilers and words like f***, and f***. We watch the thing. We watch the thing. Hello everybody and welcome back to We Watched a Thing with B Dizzle and Dave. How you doing, mate?
I am doing pretty damn well. How are you, my friend?
I'm excellent. What have you been up to?
Working my hole off at the moment. It's works full on. But I did take time out to see some good cinema, so that helped.
That's exciting. Did you manage to take an hour and a half or so out to listen to me over on the countdown?
Oh, I did indeed. I'm waiting for the vote to go up.
I know. They've been a bit slow this week, but
it was a cracking episode, by the way. I knew your list would be strong because we like much of the same stuff. So, but I was really impressed with both Paul and in particular Wayne's.
Same. Wayne's list blew me away.
He was the most indie of all of. At least half of his list I'd never fucking heard of.
Yeah, same.
Because I put the Spotify playlist together for all the listeners, and I was obviously listening to it as I went through this. I've got a whole list of artists I've never bloody heard of that I've now started checking out, and a lot of them are from Wayne's list.
Yeah, it was a good app. Yeah, so highly recommend the listeners go and check that out if you're interested in what kind of music I'm listening to. But we're not here to talk about music this week, are we, mate?
No. Music is notably missing from this episode.
Oh, that's a nice little segue. Well, let's get into it then. We are here to talk about Missing, which is a 2023 American screenlife thriller film written and directed by Merrick and Nick Johnson in their feature directorial debuts, from a story by Ohanian and Aneesh my font is too small. Aneesh Chaganty, who also produced the film with Natalie Qasabian. It's a standalone sequel to Searching, and it stars Storm Reid, Joaquim de Almeida, Ken Leung, Amy Landecker, Daniel Henney, and Nia Long. And what is it about, mate?
It is about a young 18-year-old girl who lives alone with her mother. And mother goes away with her new beau and is not there when she's supposed to be picked up. And
yes, she's missing.
She is indeed missing, and a search ensues. Notable, as with its predecessor, the film Searching, for being entirely presented through digital footage rather than, I guess, what would the technical term be? Real world footage?
I guess, yeah. So they've referred to this as screenlife, which is a style I've not heard of before. And they've been very clear that screenlife in itself is not a genre of film because there are, of course, subgenres. This is a mystery thriller. We've had similar films. I think one of the first notable ones was Unfriended. Do you remember that one?
I never got to that, actually.
I actually really liked that film.
I did hear good things, but I didn't get to it.
Yeah, so this is they refer to it as a style of filmmaking rather than a genre. And I agree. I think, so I was a massive fan of Searching in 2018. I love John Cho. I think he is fantastic, and I thought that was a great film. Were you excited for this one heading into it?
100%. I was really, really keen. I was a massive fan of Searching. I think it was one of the best films of the year. I thought Searching was an incredible film, a masterclass in direction and editing in particular, and writing.
Yeah.
Obviously, well acted. John Cho was great, etc., etc. But the real artistry was in the novel way that it was presented, and in particular the writing and editing. And I think this, I'll show my cards. I think this upped it in every respect.
Yeah, interesting. I was going to get there. I think that this film, I think it upped it in a lot of ways. I actually think the one area that this film is not as strong in is sticking to its quote-unquote gimmick. My memory of Searching is that it was very, very much set in the world of the computer. And this one is as well. But I do think there's more to buy into here. You have to buy into the premise that this girl never closes her FaceTime window for no reason other than that gives us a camera view. So a lot of the film,
many Gen Zers? I think this is probably true to life.
Well, I was going to say, look, it probably is. This is probably me. I close every app as soon as I'm done using it.
Oh, God, I close them when things start to slow down.
yeah. But you're probably right. I think that probably is true to life, that they just leave stuff like that open. But, so as an older gentleman, that part of the premise took me a little bit to buy into. I think that's probably the difference too, searching our main character, John Cho, he's
struggling to use this technology
exactly,
to do what he needs to do.
Exactly.
She obviously, it's second nature. And to your point, and I'm generally the first one to criticize found footage films because there's quintessentially you need to get over the fact that it's completely fucking unrealistic.
Yeah.
In particular, I don't know if you caught Host, the one done during lockdown when it's over.
Oh, no, I didn't. No.
In every respect, a really, really good taut horror thriller.
Yeah.
But you need to accept, even more so than with a normal found footage, where you need to accept that in running for their lives, people don't put a fucking camcorder down.
Yeah.
In this respect, you need to accept that not only is that the case, but it's not a camcorder. It's a laptop.
Yeah.
Turned around so the screen is facing fucking outwards.
Yes.
And apparently no one keeps their laptops plugged into a dock or a power cable. They can just pick them up and run.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge critic of that suspension of disbelief that's needed for those sort of films. Yeah. I think with this film, they do a really good job of setting her up as someone who lives on FaceTime.
Yeah, they do. And
her friend Vima, or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
They're constantly FaceTiming. She's constantly FaceTiming with her mum, even though her mum doesn't know she's FaceTiming half the time.
And even, we get that opening montage when her mum first leaves and she throws the party, and we get all this montage of TikTok and Snapchat footage and stuff like that, which, you're right, these Gen Zs, that's how they live. Like, it's crazy. Noosk is a ballet teacher to kids, and she was like, if you send them a text message, you'll get no response. Text messages don't even exist anymore. If they want to send a message to their friends,
I live on text messages.
If
God help you if you are so rude that you fucking try and actually phone me without sending a text first to check whether I'm willing to receive your call.
These kids don't call. They Snapchat each other. Like, if they're sending even just a message like, hey, what are you doing? She said they'll take a picture of the corner of their room and then put the text on it. Because that's just what they're used to, is Snapchat and stuff.
Oh my God. I boggles the mind. Imagine living in a world where you need to respond to things when they come in rather than, as should be the case, when it fucking suits you. Text messaging is the pinnacle of human communication, and everything that's happened since has been a step 100%, backwards.
Yeah. And you can always use the excuse, oh no, I didn't get that text. The phone lines, they must have...
I was busy, I wrote back, and that gives you an hour to formulate your response, perfectly craft the words. I need think time. I don't fucking surprise me with some FaceTime bullshit.
Yeah. No, I agree, actually. And I think that this film did a really, really great job of using the screen to show character, to progress story. Simple things like the really opening... Clever. The way that this film twists and turns, I think the plot is extremely complex in a lot of ways. And there's so many twists where you genuinely, for a lot of this film, don't expect what's going to happen even in the next 5 minutes.
I defy anyone to think this film is predictable.
And so there's some genius stuff in there. For starters, I love using these screens to show character. For example, our lead character uses a MacBook. Her mum uses Windows 10. It's just little things like that to show character.
The attention to detail is incredible. I don't think there is a digital form of communication that doesn't feature in this film.
Yeah.
So searching was a lot more limited. I mean, no slight on it. It made sense because your protagonist, John Cho, doesn't understand technology particularly well. He's struggling to work his way through his daughter's different social media apps and things to look for her.
Yeah.
In this case, and God, I'm blanking on her name. Storm Reid's character, our main girl, is adept at all this stuff, and the way she rockets through to just the most genius array of websites and apps and things to try and. I can imagine law enforcement agencies across the planet watching this and going, damn, you can do that?
Well, that's the thing, and because she
jumps
outside the system as such.
She jumps on, how do you find people in another country? Oh, well, you jump on like Google Maps and Street View, and you can see that there's a traffic camera. So you
use AirTasker to get in touch with someone in the country.
Doesn't work. Find the local equivalent. Can't afford the good guy. We'll get Joaquim on his scooter in the singlet because he's got with his 2.8 star rating. Yeah. I can imagine. I was going to say the writers' room, but it's really the two directors that are also the writers, and very interestingly, who were editors on the first one. Yeah, which I think was the strongest part of the first one. Yeah, in a film that was kind of strong across the board, and it kind of makes sense that this kind of ups the ante in every respect.
It does. This is a much bigger film in so many ways. I think the first one, due to its limited scope, and due to, like you say, that main protagonist not being adept with the technology he's using, it's almost a completely different style of mystery because the first one, the mystery is in, well, fuck, how do I do this? How do I find this person? Whereas in this one, the plot itself is the one that keeps punching along and keeps twisting and turning, and it feels grander on every imaginable scale. This is a grand film.
It never slows down.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
The pace is amazing.
I'm surprised that this film isn't being spoken about more. I know that we here have gotten it a bit late. It was released January 20 in the States.
Oh shit, really?
But here I struggled to find a session time because my cinema, I've got 5 local cinemas, only one was showing it. And the session times were not frequent. And this is a film that just released this week.
I was the same. I saw the only session that I could. Yeah. Because I decided I was going to see Cocaine Bear for last week's ep, and I thought, well, I want to see this. Let's see if I can squeeze them into the same day. Yeah. And I had to plan the rest of my day around this one solitary session that kind of worked. Which I find astonishing.
I find it amazing, given that Searching was very well received, given that this one has had very good reviews from the people who have seen it.
Did Searching, remind me, did Searching go to cinemas or was it streaming?
Searching did go to cinemas, I saw that in a cinema, So this one, on its small budget of $7 million, I mean, yes, it's made a return, but it's only made 42. Which is not the kind of numbers I would expect this film to be doing. And I wonder if part of that is really signaling the death of cinema. I wonder if this is going to be one of those ones that really picks up steam when it goes to streaming.
I think it will, but I also think I have not seen any marketing for this film at all. I know about it because I loved the first one, and the minute I read about it, I was looking for release dates and seeking it out proactively. But I've not seen, not that I watch like free-to-air TV or any of the things where you normally find stuff, but even online, there's not been a whole lot of chatter about it. Even
that's true.
Your film Twitter crowds and that sort of thing. It's kind of just appeared. Yeah. So, which I find surprising because I would have thought this is something that would really warrant some good marketing.
Yeah, for sure.
The subject matter, the uniqueness of the premise and the way the film's presented, everything I would have thought is something that would have a very potentially really strong audience with younger cinema goers.
That's true. I wonder if that's part of it because as we've said several times now, Searching with John Cho was much more aimed at an older kind of demographic, I think, whereas this, it is surprising that they haven't marketed it towards, our main character's kind of age group.
Yeah. I'm genuinely surprised.
Well, let's talk about the acting in the film. What did you think of that? I mean, obviously, we've really only got, 4, 5 performances in the film?
This is the Storm Reid show, really.
Yeah.
She's just on an absolute tear at the moment. I'm not being someone who watches Euphoria. I jokingly referred to her as Mini Zendaya in my Letterboxd review. Only to find out later that she plays Zendaya's younger sister in Euphoria.
Yeah, I've also not watched Euphoria. Noosk watched the first episode and it was too full on for her. So
I don't even know what it's about. I mean, I gather it's about school kids or something.
Yeah, I think it's teen kids doing drugs, having sex.
Right, yeah. For anyone who's a parent, it's a little bit too frighteningly real.
Yep. But yeah, I thought Storm Reid was fantastic in this film.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and you're right. She really carries it, and with not, it's all in the face, and in that kind of performance, there's no blocking in this film. 90% of it is her sitting in front of the screen talking to herself.
I can imagine it would be a very, very hard acting wise.
Yeah,
just because the camera would literally be in your face the whole time. Yeah. I don't know if you're up to date with The Last of Us, but she's had a very strong turn in one episode of The Last of Us recently as well.
Yeah,
she's having a really fucking good year.
I
thought it was the year of Jenna Ortega, but it might end up being the year of Storm Reid.
Yeah. Yeah, she was fantastic in this movie.
She's great. I'm a big Joaquim de Almeida fan ever since Desperado, which is one of my favourite films of all time. It's so good to see him, and he was just having a ball. He was such a great character.
Yeah, he was great. I didn't need the kind of almost inherent cheesiness that comes with, his father-son relationship thing. I personally didn't.
That was a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it was a small.
It was very small. It's a minor quibble, but it's very unnecessary. Yeah. It just it's cheesy and it rings a bit false. That was honestly, that's largely my only issue with the film. Yeah,
I thought Ken Leung was good. You'd be a fan, obviously, being almost as big a Lost fan as I am. Anytime he crops up, I'm happy. Daniel Henney, I could have done with a little bit more Daniel Henney.
Yeah.
Mainly probably just because I'm gagging for season 2 of Wheel of Time, and just having him on screen was like, oh well, it's almost the same. But no, cast all really strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, Storm Reid, wow.
Yeah.
Very, very talented.
So where are you on the plot? We spoke at the start about how I don't think anyone could claim to have predicted anything. Like, not even just the ending. I didn't know what was going to be happening 10 minutes down the road in this film.
No.
I feel like it was very fast-paced. Especially, you don't think of a film like this all presented effectively through one lens. It's hard to think of that as being as fast-paced as this film is.
It's relentless.
And that's where I think the writing is
constantly
extremely
moving.
high quality.
I derailed myself earlier when I started talking about the writing. I can imagine just a room full of Post-it notes constantly being shuffled and reshuffled with red string going from pin to pin to pin all over to try and keep track of not only just the machinations of the plot, but all the different technologies that you're going to use to tell every single scene.
It's
not it's a whole nother layer. I can't even imagine the process.
Yeah.
Because normally you'd sort of storyboard your scene and, here's the dialogue, here's what's going to happen, and you'd block it out and you'd know your camera angles.
Yeah.
In this, you've then got an entire additional layer of workload to go, there's no blocking, really. But at what point do we have her switch from TikTok to YouTube to a website to this? Where do those windows fit on the screen? And how do we progress the plot that goes not only all over the place within a city like Searching, it goes to fucking Colombia. How do you do that and still keep within the premise of this? way of presenting the film. And it was so clever. At no point did I feel that it was contrived.
No.
Even she goes to meet her parents at the airport
very naturally.
She very believably, from what we know of her personality up to that point, sets up her phone camera to film her with
TikTok prank.
With the joke, "Welcome home from prison, mum" sign.
Yeah.
The only thing I did notice was that we got a little bit of time lapse speed up on that, which didn't make sense within the
that's
kind
fair.
of conceit of the film.
Yeah,
but that's a small fucking criticism.
I agree. I think it uses the technology to a really clever effect. Even little things, and we're getting well into spoiler territory now, but the opening scene with that historic footage
and the trimming. Yeah.
And obviously, as an audience member, you assume from what you've seen in that clip so far what is being trimmed and why.
Yes.
And then when you get the reveal later on, it's very, very smart, I think. It's really well executed.
I mean, everything's spoilers by this stage. But, I was completely floored by the dad turning up.
Yes.
Completely floored. And I was completely floored by the reveal of who he actually was, really. I had been completely sold on the fact that Ken Leung was the bad guy.
100%.
Then I flip-flopped 180 on that. And the writing is this should be up for awards.
For
editing, for writing.
I agree. And I think it's unfortunate that just getting a February, March release, it's going to be forgotten by that time in the year.
It's going to be Northman.
Yeah. Well, all right. All in all then,
you haven't talked about the score. Even I noticed the score.
It was a great score. And from memory, Searching was nominated for score.
Really?
I mean, now I feel like I need to... I could be talking completely out of my arse, Dave. I don't know if you know this about me. I do that sometimes. Critical reception, accolades. Maybe I was lying. I might have made it up, mate.
Outstanding. Why would you go anywhere else for your movie news, listeners?
I agree, though. Fantastic score. Very enjoyable. And it's funny, you would think that a score would kind of break the reality of the premise because it's obviously, it's not, what's the word, diegetic? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's not part of the world that you're watching, and supposedly you're watching this unadulterated screen. Yeah, but that never hit me,
not once,
and it masterfully kind of led you where they wanted you to go in terms of who you suspected, what you suspected.
100%.
Very
manipulative score in a good way.
It is, yes.
Yeah. It tells you what you should be thinking and feeling at every moment, which usually sounds like a bad move. But in a film like this, I think it works tremendously well because it just makes you all the more surprised at the end.
Yeah.
But it's not manipulative surprise. It's not like when you're watching... Look, I'm one of the biggest Veronica Mars fans out there. But at the end of season 1, when you find out who the killer is and you're like, wow, I never suspected that. And there's a little bit that he goes, well, you never would have suspected.
Don't tell me who it is because I've only just started watching that show.
It's a great show. We'll revisit this conversation and we'll see if you ever guessed who it is and if you agree that you probably couldn't ever guess who it is.
Well, the bad thing about coming at it so late is that I know that the bad boy that you're supposed to hate is going to end up being the ongoing love interest because he's in the fucking cast until the very last episode. So, yeah. I should have watched it at the time and I didn't. Mea culpa.
All right. So how are you scoring Missing on a scale of 1 to 10?
It's an 8.
Yes, I'm also an 8. I think, honestly, this has every chance of cracking my top 10 of the year list at this point.
I know
that we're very early in the year. Stage. But I loved this film, and I can't push strongly enough for everybody to just go see it. I can't believe
100%, and see it in a theater with an audience if you can. I think it's still there.
Yeah, I can't believe that this film isn't
and then run home and change all of your passwords.
Oh my God. I mean, that was so hilarious. Like, do you reckon he looks like a same password for everything guy? And then his password is Kevin the Stallion.
And when she's going through her mum's things and
it's all kind different of names just with
the same sort of structure, and I'm going, fuck, I do that. I used to work in internet security and I do that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's a big time recommend from us here at We Watch the Thing. So definitely go check out Missing.
Yep. 100%.
You know what else we should do? Because the Oscars are next week, mate. Let's get to some Oscar talk and
depresses
knock
me
out
with that far into March, but sure.
Yeah. Well, where should we start? Obviously, we won't do all the categories. We'll just knock off the big ones. How about we start with
catering?
Actor?
Oh, okay.
Because I want to know your thoughts on this and which way you think it's going to lean. Because I know that obviously
you have very strong opinions because you've seen something that I haven't.
I was going to say, let's preface this. We haven't seen every film out there, so
no. But I'm arrogant enough to presume that I know.
And let's give our heart picks and our head picks. So, best actor, we've got Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin, Bill Nighy for Living, and Paul Mescal for After Sun. Where are you leaning?
I haven't got to After Sun, which I a lot of people I know are very high on. I know where you're going to go because you've seen a thing that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I'm going to pretend that I don't know how highly you think of that. And my head pick would be Austin Butler.
Right, yeah, okay, yes.
My heart would be Farrell.
I didn't even really consider Butler, but you're right. If you look back historically, even just over the last 5 years.
Oh, it's the Rami Malek thing.
If Rami Malek can win.
The exception being that everything I've seen of Austin Butler is that he's fucking amazing in that.
Yeah.
Everything else about it, obviously, I hate because it's Baz Luhrmann, and Baz Luhrmann is fucking trash. But everything I've seen, he looks amazing.
Yeah.
And you've also got, it's the Bohemian Rhapsody thing. It's the sort of thing that they like to award.
They do like to. My heart and head are both with Fraser for The Whale. I think that was a phenomenal performance. And I do think that it did have such buzz. I agree. Yeah, I would love to see Colin Farrell.
If you hadn't told me how good it is, I would have assumed that the kind of We Love Brendan nostalgia wave had kind of started to die away.
Yep.
Which is why I would have put my money on Butler.
Yep. All right. Let's move over to Best Actress then, where we've got...
AKA The Blanchett.
Yeah. I mean, do we need to read them out? We've got Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams in The Fablemans, Cate Blanchett in Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I can't believe I'm saying this because for my entire first 12 months of the year, I was rooting for Yeoh all the way. I do now, I believe, have both my heart and head with Blanchett.
My head is not on Blanchett now. I'd forgotten about Michelle Yeoh.
You reckon Yeoh is going to...
She's picked up some biggies on the road so far.
Yeah, because she got the SAG award, didn't she?
Yeah.
And the SAGs are usually a pretty good predictor.
Tar's not a film for everybody, and it's certainly not one that's as widely seen as Everything Everywhere.
Well, that's true. And Topher did message me the other day saying, wow, actors in particular really seem to fucking love Everything Everywhere All at Once because it has picked up a tremendous amount of actors.
Well, everyone loves Michelle Yeoh, and
honestly,
and has for years. So
I mean, we'll get to this soon. I'm surprised by the way a lot of people are leaning with supporting actress. Not to give anything away, but yeah, people do really seem to be loving Everything Everywhere All at Once. So you're right. Perhaps Yeoh.
My head is Michelle Yeoh. My heart is obviously Blanchett.
Yeah.
Who else did we have in there?
Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams, The Fablemans, and
Michelle Williams is well overdue, but is perennially.
I don't think this is going to
always a bridesmaid's her middle name. So.
Yeah. I mean, her year should have been several years ago. She should have won for Manchester by the Sea.
Best supporting. Fucking oath she should. Yeah. Best scene in that entire depressing film.
Fucking great film, and she's great in it. But I reckon you're right, perhaps. This could be for Yo. All right, let's get over to Best Supporting Actress, speaking of it, where we have Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Kerry Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Stephanie Sue, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Hong Chow for The Whale. Where are you on this one? I'm surprised by how many people...
I would put money on the fact that I'm going to be correct in this.
Really? Because I'm surprised by the number of people who think Jamie Lee Curtis has this.
I would put my money on her.
Really?
Yep. That's not my heart. I don't think she should.
I mean,
but my money is on it.
She know that I
never won an acting award to my rather patchy recollection.
No, she hasn't. No, yeah.
She's been around for fucking ever, been in big stuff forever. Everyone loves her. She was way against type. Yeah. And it's Everything Everywhere All at Once, so she played like 5 different characters.
I mean, look, you know that I was the biggest fan of that film out there. I fucking loved that film, but I would not have even nominated Jamie Lee Curtis for this award. I
think if anyone in that film should get it, it's the daughter. But I don't
agree.
think she will.
I think it will be Jamie Lee Curtis.
She's young. She's got years to get an award. Jamie Lee Curtis.
She's not winning,
on.
But I think I would be happy if she did, but she's not going to. My heart is with Kerry Condon.
Fucking oath. If anyone apart from Kerry Condon get it, it's a travesty.
Well, I agree.
She is the best performance of the year for that category.
And there are several, Jamie Lee Curtis could get it, you're right. I think Angela Bassett could get it for much the same reason. I think there's a lot of people, I personally...
But she's fucking awful in it.
I agree. My heart is 100% with Kerry Condon. She was fantastic.
She was the anchor at the centre of that film, and that film was a masterclass in acting across the board.
100%.
I completely want her to win, and I sadly don't think she's got much of a shot at all.
All right, well, Best Supporting Actor, we've got Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans, Barry Cogan for Banshees of Inisherin, and Ki Huy Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Frickin', is this one in the bag or what? Jesus Christ.
It's a lot.
If we thought that the wave of love for Brendan Fraser was strong, the wave of love for Short Round is off the fucking chain.
Have you had a look at his Wikipedia page of late?
Of late or ever? No.
Okay, all right. Okay. The section for awards and nominations is shockingly fucking long for a man who has been in like 2 films. For this film alone, is there a way to count Rose? I think he's been nominated 50 times for Best Supporting Actor for this film.
It's an unprecedented tsunami of love for this guy.
And he has only lost 1. I believe.
This is the biggest shoe-in the fucking Oscar history.
Every Critics Association award, he's won Best Supporting Actor. Literally so many awards he's won for this film. And honestly, well fucking deserved. I'm here for it. Heart and head,
I can't
both with
complain.
my boy, Ki Huy.
My heart's Barry Keoghan. I think
Keoghan was great.
He was
Again,
phenomenal.
He's young. He's young, and
he's got Oscars in his future.
I was going to say, when you look at his body of work already and how phenomenal he's been to date in the past, 5-6 years since I first saw him, I think.
He's a great actor.
He's got multiple awards in his future, but I'm
Short Round. Let's face it. I mean, this is his one. This is his moment in the sun. I don't see. This continue. He'll continue to act. I'm sure he'll have more roles for the next few years, but I don't think he's ever going to have this kind of alignment of planets. So
100%.
Or good luck to him. He's going to win, and I'm not sad about it.
Yeah. All right. Should we talk about some screenplays, perhaps?
Yes, my favorite categories.
Best adapted screenplay. We've got Living by Kazuo Ishiguro, Top Gun Maverick, Christopher McQuarrie, Peter Craig and Aaron Kruger, Women Talking, Sarah Polley, Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, Ryan Johnson, and All Quiet on the Western Front, Edward Berger, Elle Patterson and Ian Stokell. This is a tough category.
Is All Quiet? Is this original that we're doing?
No, this is adapted.
How is Glass Onion adapted?
because it's a sequel, so it's based on an existing property.
That's the way
seriously? Which same reason
That's
Top Gun
fucking
Maverick.
ridiculous.
Any sequel is adapted because
I
it's
assume
adapted
Top
from
Gun Maverick
existing
had been adapted
characters.
from a fucking piece of fan fiction.
Because it's adapted from existing characters.
That's a fucking stupid rule.
Yeah. My money's on women talking.
That's my heart.
Oh.
And I haven't even seen it. I just love. I love Sarah Polley. I love everything I've heard about it, and it's been horrendously snubbed by everyone. So I want it to win everything it can. I kind of also want Glass Onion to win because
Really?
I think it's fucking great.
I'm surprised to see it nominated. Like, genre films usually don't get nominated here. At its heart, it's a comedy.
So
it's a
fucking
mystery.
clever.
Yeah, look, I'm all for it. I think the more films like that get nominations, the better. I don't see it winning though.
I really want Women Talking to win.
Yeah,
Just because
that's
Sarah Polley's due for some fucking love, and she's just so talented, so awesome, and just never gets the plaudits that she deserves. So
agreed.
I've got my fingers crossed for her.
All right, over to original screenplay, which again, I think this could go multiple ways. We've got Everything Everywhere All at Once by the Daniels, The Banshees of Inisherin, Martin McDonagh, Triangle of Sadness, Ruben Ostlund, The Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg, Tony Kushner, and Tar, Todd Field. I love several of these films.
Yeah.
And I think that this could go any which way, depending on who is doing the voting at the time. I mean, honestly, even my heart pick, I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once. I loved The Banshees of Inisherin. I loved Tar. Tar's strengths, I don't think, were in the screenplay, though.
No.
So I'm happy to knock that out of the running.
Yeah,
but this is a fairly stacked category.
Yeah, I'm the same. You'll recall the only criticism I had of Tar really was that the pacing was a little bit off, and I didn't think a couple of the scenes were necessary, and that's all down to the writing. So that's not on my list. Banshees is probably my heart pick.
Yeah, I think it's McDonagh's best work. I mean, he won for 3 Billboards, obviously. I think that's the one thing against him is that he's already an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
I think that this is probably going to be the Daniels. I think this is going to be the year of the Daniels. Yeah.
See, there's other categories where I think if that film is going to get awards, other than acting, obviously, which I think we agreed is a shoo-in for some. Writing's not where I'd put it.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the bone that they throw to McDonagh.
Yeah.
I think that's my head and heart. I think it's not going to get the acting nods that it should.
Yeah, that's true.
Or potentially should.
And it's not going to get Best Picture. Yeah.
No. And I think this is, quite often you'll throw a writing bone to the film that is missing out on a lot of the other stuff that it potentially should get because you're giving it to something a bit glitzier.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be where it goes.
Yeah.
Banshees.
All right, best visual effects. We've got Top Gun Maverick, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Way of Water, and The Batman. As a visual effects artist myself, I am very, very, very torn on this one because the truth is, I think I've got to say Avatar.
Come on.
It's hard to go
fucking
against it.
3D mocap underwater. For nothing else than pushing the boundaries.
Very, very impressive work. There is a large part of me that actually really wants to push for Top Gun Maverick because I think that is a very, very, very nice looking film. And I still
Is it that hard to super glue a GoPro to the outside of a plane, really?
And thank you. This is my argument. The number of people who hear stories about, this film is, it's so practical. People hear that all the time and they're like, people just think that there's no visual effects to it.
No, it's a very nice looking film. My problems with that are completely down to the script.
Yes, yeah.
Which is stupid.
Yeah.
But it looks fabulous.
Yeah. So I'm here for either Maverick or Avatar. Let's face it, it's gonna
I'm
be
surprised Everything Everywhere All at Once isn't in there.
It's not there. And I'm surprised by that too, because that would be my heart pick, especially I've spoken on this show before about how all the visual effects in that film were done by a team of 5 people. It's one of the most impressive piece of work I've seen.
I think, and I'm only a 3.5 out of 5 on that film, but I think it deserves awards purely for the fact that it got made.
Yeah.
With the number of people that it did and for the budget that it did.
Yeah.
It's incredibly impressive, and I think I don't think it should win.
Yeah.
But I think it's a big snub that it's not nominated.
I agree. Very disappointing. All right. Best film editing. We've got Top Gun Maverick, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, and Tar.
Ooh. See, this is where I think that Everything Everywhere All at Once should win.
Yes, that's my heart pick.
But I think they're going to give it to Maverick.
Really? I was going to say I think Elvis is probably going to win. I reckon
it'd probably help if I'd watched the whole of Elvis, but it's Baz Luhrmann and I couldn't bring myself to drag myself through an entire film. I watched as much as I could.
Because Top Gun, I think, has a really good shot at, sound editing, sound mixing, those kind of awards.
Yeah, true.
I feel like Elvis isn't actually really going to win just about anything.
I don't think Elvis is going to win anything.
So
except maybe acting.
If it wins anything, I think this might be where they throw it. It's a 3-hour film. People love to really present this award for most edited instead of best edited.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
Personally, if you look at the most edited in terms of the greatest number of cuts and how well they,
then it's
everything ever always been. Come on.
So I'm really hoping that's 100% where my heart is with. Yeah.
I mean, as with other categories that we'll get to, my heart pick isn't even fucking nominated, so the entire Academy Award system can go and fucking eat a dick.
All right. You know what? We don't usually do these. Let's talk some makeup and costumes, mate.
Yeah.
All right. Best makeup and hairstyling. We've got Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, All Quiet on the Western Front, Elvis, The Whale, and The Batman.
So this is where you'll often get your period things winning in this, so All Quiet's probably got a shot.
I reckon they have a better shot at costuming.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, makeup and hair. My heart and head 100% with The Whale, which you haven't seen, obviously.
No,
but the
transformation. This is why this category is interesting.
Yeah, the transformation is insane. He spent so fucking long in the makeup chair every day, and it's not even like he's fully clothed the whole time. That you see him virtually nude at points, and it's next level. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. I think we've seen transformations like this before. I think Tilda Swinton playing a 90-year-old fucking man in Suspiria was next level, and from memory, that
not even
wasn't
fucking nominated. As I was reminded listening into the Oscar snubs episode of Two Peas on a Podcast, which made me increasingly angry. And of course, poor old Mia Goth.
Yep.
Makeup in X, not even nominated.
Yeah.
Speaking of an actress who's not been nominated for a lot of stuff this year, fucking.
But my heart and head are both with The Whale. Can I take a guess at yours?
Go on.
Are you here for the Batman?
I'm fucking here for the Batman.
Fuck off. No.
Colin Farrell, who is not going to win Best Actor and should, and is not even nominated for Best Supporting.
You hired Colin Farrell and spent tons of money
Billy,
and
you're better than that.
Him look like Richard Kind.
He was unrecognisable, and I don't think anyone would have even known it was him if he wasn't actually listed in the cast.
Yeah.
I reckon it would have been a fun bit of marketing to not have him listed in the cast.
That would have been exciting.
As they did with Deborah Winger way back in,
I'd
say 1984 for Made in Heaven.
That would have been exciting.
Where she played a male angel and is also unrecognisable. It's obviously a little bit more showy from what I've seen, the makeup in The Whale. But I think it's still Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very good. but I think the makeup
But I think
on
you
Colin
need that
Farrell
because
is
what
unbelievable.
what makes The Whale work for me, honestly, is that
Oh yeah.
sparkle in
That's,
Brendan
no
Fraser's
criticism on what
eyes.
they've no criticism on what they've done at all. I think it looks incredible. But
I knew you'd be the Batman.
yeah,
Oh, gee.
because it's an amazing film, and we'll win all of the sound things that we're.
All right, let's get over to costume design. We've got Babylon, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Elvis.
This is 100% going to Babylon.
Yeah. My heart is with Everything Everywhere for every single category it's in. I just want it to win as many awards as it can. But I think you're right. I think Babylon, it's the period piece. It's the Hollywood thing. It's not going to win.
And it is actually,
else.
the production design and costuming is
Yeah.
flawless on that. It really is. It's on par with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for perfectly encapsulating that period in time.
Yeah.
And it's not up for enough awards, and I want
It's not. Yeah, it's not up for barely any. That'll probably be its only award.
Yeah, which is almost a guaranteed win for it, I would think, given the stature of the film and who made it.
Yeah. Alrighty then, over to Best Director. We've got Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin, Todd Field for Tar, Ruben Östlund, The Triangle of Sadness, Daniel Kwan, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Daniel Scheinert, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Steven Spielberg, The Fabelmans. Are they nominated separately? Are they up against each other for director?
There's been I don't know if they're up against each other, surely not, but it is very funny that in a category that allows, what is it, 5 or 6?
Yeah.
We've actually got 7 white guys. If 6 white guys wasn't enough, we're going to cram 7 of them in there just to make sure that all of the women of colour really feel left out.
This is another, I don't know, this could go any which way. My heart, 100%, like I said, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I would love for Todd Field to take it for Tar as well, but I don't think he's got a shot. I'd love for Martin McDonagh to grab another award, but I don't think he's got a shot. I think that this really comes down to the Daniels and Spielberg. I
haven't. I don't know if you've seen Fabelmans yet.
I haven't,
really.
No.
I'm not jazzed for it. It just looks like such a saccharine kind of old guy. Yeah. Semi-autobiography. Nothing about it appeals to me. And I don't care how many reviews I read saying that it's great. It's just, I'll see it eventually. But
yeah. But
it kind of feels like it kind of feels like
love
that
films about Hollywood.
Oh, they do, and they love Spielberg, and it kind of feels they don't love Hollywood, or fucking Babylon would be up. My heart is 100% on McDonagh. I think in terms of who did best directing of the year, the directing on that film is flawless.
Yep.
I have, much as I appreciate and like Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, other films, I can find faults in the direction and screenwriting and stuff. I don't think they're perfect, despite the amazing work I think that Daniels did on that film.
Yeah,
I personally think there are faults with it.
Yeah.
Whereas when I look at Banshees, I literally can't put my finger on a single thing with that film that I think could be better.
So what about your head, though? Do you think that McDonagh has a shot at actually winning it?
No.
I think there's too much of the fact that
Spielberg and Daniels, and I actually think that it might be Daniels. I think there might be a bit of an upset, and the kind of the wave of love for that film.
Yep.
We'll see it win that.
Well, speaking of the wave of love for that film, here's the ultimate question. Does the wave of love carry across to Best Picture?
I don't think so.
Best Picture, we've got Top Gun Maverick, Women Talking, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Banshees of Inisherin, Triangle of Sadness, The Fabelmans, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, Elvis, and Tar. Let me ask you this. I don't think you and I have ever actually discussed this. Where are you on the 10 nomination thing? Are you for it or against it?
It just seems like a ridiculous waste of time.
Yeah. Particularly when most years it is more or less.
If you're going to do it for every category. Why do it for just one category? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You're either able to whittle it down to 5 or whatever, or you're not. The fact that it's Best Picture as opposed to Best Director or anything, because at the end of the day, Best Picture, yes, it's the most lauded one, but at the end of the day, it's the fucking Producers Award.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It should be called Best Producer because
and
that's what it's awarding.
It is, the one nice thing about it is that it has allowed more kind of genre films to get nominations, but the truth is, they're empty
nominations because they're never going to win.
They're never going to win. Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of look, here's a little token. We've put you on the list, and no one's going to, but you don't have a shot.
So you don't think The Wave of Love is carrying across for Everything Everywhere All at Once? What do you think is walking away with Best Picture? Then?
I think this is going to be one of those years where you get a film picking up Best Picture that hasn't really won much else, and I think it's going to be the fucking Fabelmans.
Yeah, right.
I think if it's not the Fabelmans,
you think this might be one of the years where what they do is they split and they give the Daniels the director
award. And picture. I think are going to different films this year.
Yeah, right.
I don't think Everything Everywhere All at Once is going to get Best Picture.
Wow. I mean, it's my heart and head are both with Everything Everywhere All at Once. I haven't seen all of the films. I would rather it wins. I've seen 7.
The only left field one, if it's not Fabelmans, it might be All Quiet.
Yeah, that could just sneak in there. Yeah.
Because I don't think it's going to win much else other than sort of possibly sound mixing and that sort of stuff. I don't think it's going to win much else.
Yeah,
and it's by all accounts a 5-star film. Everyone's raving about it. It's done phenomenally well. I think it or Fabelmans might pick it up as just being kind of the biggest Hollywood type safe picks for Best Picture.
Yeah,
but I think Daniels might get directing.
Yeah, right. That would make sense for them to do the split because that is often what they do when they've got 2 films like this. Interesting. Where would your heart be? Would your heart be with Banshees?
For Best Picture? It's hard because I haven't seen All Quiet and I have a feeling that if I'd seen it, my heart would be that was the Best Picture of the year.
Yeah.
Obviously, my heart is with a film that's been snubbed on every fucking category across the board because it was released too early in the year. Because the best film of the year, as we both know and appreciate, was The Northman. Much as Best Actress was Mia Goth. But, out of this list, I kind of would like to see Everything Everywhere All at Once win.
I would love to see
I don't think it's the best film of the year.
Yeah.
But given that it's kind of the Producers Award, I think that the work and the effort that went into producing a film of that magnitude with the budget that they did, because obviously a big part of the producer's job is stretching that budget, and Jesus Christ, they stretched that budget.
Yeah.
The only problems I had with that film were to do with the script. I think in terms of a production, a cinematic production, it's an incredible achievement, and I think it deserves to be rewarded.
Yeah, it's totally fair.
More so than Spielberg, who's sitting there with an open checkbook and can do whatever the fuck he wants and take as long as he wants because he can write his own ticket. You've got to respect the people that made their own thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oversaw every fucking facet of it. The same way Cameron did, but without billions of dollars and 20 fucking years to make it.
100%. That's absolutely where my heart is. I hope it happens. And hopefully next week when we catch up to recap the Oscars, hopefully that's what we'll be talking about.
Yep, and I'll be whinging about the fact that The Northman and Pearl and X and all these other things didn't even get fucking nominated because the whole system is ridiculous.
Oh, it'll be a whingy episode. I think that's going to have to be its own bonus ep next week because
I want a whinge episode. I want to rant about The Northman some more.
All right, well, let's do that. Let's do that as a bonus ep because there's too much else to get to, mate. Because you know what else comes out this week? Scream fucking 6.
Ooh, speaking of General Ortega.
And I might do a double feature this week because you know what else is coming out? Fucking Adam Driver living with dinos and shit.
That's really. I mean, I'm getting trailers every time I go to the cinema, but considering who's in it and what it is.
Yeah.
Not a lot of marketing.
I didn't know it was a film until like 2 weeks ago when I saw a trailer at the cinema.
It's like someone sat back and gone, Geez, that After Earth was shit. Let's try and make it with a better actor and a better director.
So I reckon I'm going to do a double feature and get to Scream 6 and that, because I am keen as fuck.
Adam Driver in a sci-fi. How bad can it be?
Well, there you go. That's next week. In the meantime, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that at wewatchedathing.com or wewatchedathing@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all under the handle at wewatchedathing. If you want to help support the show, you can do that at patreon.com/wewatchedathing, and we'll catch you next week.
Go rewatch The Northman.